I love Swenson. How's that?
It's good.
All right. Recording in progress. You ready? Swenson's. Galley Boy, baby. I love their milkshakes, although afterwards I feel like crap. They're so good. Their peanut butter milkshake.
I think Don gets that. Doesn't Don get
So
that?
good.
Don?
Okay, it's over here. All right, ready? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hoops and Cards, Basketball Cards 101. Today we want to talk a little bit about sports card breaks. I've got my friends here from SHAG Sports Cards. What's up, guys?
What's up? Hey, how's it going?
Got Dave and Mike here. They're ready to do another podcast. Maybe you listen to the other episode that tells their stories. Check that out. Today we want to talk a little bit about you guys actually host these things called breaks. And the 101 series, guys, we address issues, foundations for understanding sports cards and like how to get cards, maybe how to make some money off cards. And then you hear these terms like breaks and razzes and online live streams and new product drops. Like what are breaks? Whoever wants to fill us in, pretend like I've never heard of this thing. I just landed here from Mars or Ann Arbor or somewhere. Tell me what a break
From
is.
Ann Arbor.
Are you from Ann Arbor? Okay.
So breaks is basically taking this expensive box, this expensive hobby box, with,
Like
you know,
this box.
right here,
Okay.
with an auto in it or a couple autos in it, and making it affordable for people that don't want to drop hundreds of dollars on a hobby box, which
Okay.
is most people.
So hobby box, like you can't find those at Target, Walmart,
Correct.
or Rite Aid or CVS. This is like dealer exclusive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically there's 32 teams in the league. So we are splitting up the cost of this box by 32. So everybody's going to get a team, and the 180 cards in this box, we are going to give whatever cards come out to that team. So there's one autograph in here. Somebody's going to pull a nice autograph. And
Yes, got some NBA. That's all I'm doing.
yes,
Paolo,
NBA as
baby.
well. So somebody's going to get an auto in here, hopefully a Paolo. And there's going to be some other good cards in there. Hobby boxes have numbered cards. They have case hits and like big expensive cards. So it gives somebody with $10, $15 a chance to hit $1,000 card, which you're not going to find in retail.
Right. Okay. So, and you were going to explain a different kind of.
So
break.
what David, it's weird.
You can call him.
What who said
Yeah, Mike.
is the pick your teams. And so that's to say, okay, well, if I like the Cavs, I want to buy the Cavs out of this box. And so I'm going to get all the Cavs players out of this. However, some people are going to say, okay, well, maybe we're just going to take a little bit of a gamble because everybody likes to gamble. And so we're going to say, okay, there's 30 teams in the NBA, and this is we're going to have a random team. And so we're going to say, okay, once 30 spots are bought and you bought a random team for, let's just say $10. Well, we're going to, before we actually open up this box of cards, we are going to show it live on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, SHAG Sports Cards. And we're going to take all the names, we're going to take all the teams, and we're going to randomize. So I, Mike, might get the Charlotte Bobcats or the,
We got to tell them.
Cavaliers. Was that?
We got to tell them they're the Hornets now.
Right. It's not the Bobcats anymore. I was just debating. Do I wait till
yeah,
later?
we can crack on. The Charlotte
It's Kemba Walker. It's all.
or the Golden State Warriors. And so your chances, you're just sort of taking a guess that you might get a good team or you might get a bad team, but that's the chance that that's why it's called a random team.
Yes.
And so we have random divisions to where it's the same thing as it's broken down into the 6 divisions in basketball. So there's just different ways to sort of break open this box of cards. It could be your pick your team, a random division.
So, Mike, that's a box of NBA hoops hobby from this year. Paolo's in it, Benedict Matherin's in it, all those rookies. How much does that box cost?
Yeah, so this box is going to run you about $135.
And that's after it's been out for a few months, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so if I wanted to buy a team a specific team. It sounds like some teams are great buys, like Orlando probably costs more than buying Utah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, but give me ballpark. Like if I want to buy a random team, how much would you sell it? That's called buying into a break, right? I'm buying a team or a couple teams.
Yep.
So for $135 box, we may do $8 for a random team,
Okay.
Adds up the box price to about, 240. But it, $8. You could get the Orlando Magic and get a Palo Auto for $8. And that's kind of the appeal of breaks. That's why it's so fun. Any sort of, adrenaline rush like that is fun. Everybody enjoys it.
Awesome. I've done where I bought a team on eBay. Like you can see when a new product is coming out, they just released that day or whatever. And shops or online breakers are selling individual teams that you basically buy in an auction. And then later that day, if I've paid for it, I end up getting a link to go in and participate, right? And this is how you guys do it. Is it on YouTube or is it on your own site where people go in and they're watching their own, right?
Yeah.
Their own cards being opened.
Yeah, so we'll do the break on YouTube, and like you said, we do the eBay auctions as well. Start the team at 99 cents. So in some cases, teams actually go for 99 cents. So depending on who the rookies are on your favorite team, if you got goats on the team or some of the best players in the league, you may be able to get your favorite team for 99 cents and get all of these cool cards for that team that you like.
So is breaking still as popular today as it was when it first started, number one? Like, 'cause it's been around for 10, 15 years, right? And then also like the last couple of years with the sports card market booming, breaks were like, because that was the only place people could buy and get new products often is online, right?
Yeah, I think there was a surge. I mean, when we started, we were probably way late in the game, but at the same time as with the card market being down in 2021, 2022, I think I'll never forget. We did one of the breaks. I think Cruz was in it, or the one that Dempsey, that kid that Dempsey was watching with that kid. I forget what exactly he was doing, but he was like, it was poorly constructed as far as the streaming quality. And so you need to make sure that, and then also too, is like, we pride ourselves on, we'll break tonight at 8:00 and the cards will be out the next morning. And so we can control how quickly. Some breakers might wait a week or whatnot to ship the cards. We want to make sure we control our controllables.
Yeah, because then you have some repeat
Absolutely.
customers and people know they can trust you. And
Absolutely.
if you guys are listening or watching us on YouTube and thinking, man, I've done a break or I want to do a break where I'm the person or the group that buys the hobby box, right, that sells the spots. But it sounds like on one hand, you can make some money doing that by selling teams, right, at an auction. On the other hand, it's a lot of work. Like, tell us about you even mentioned, like, I got to ship all these out the next day. Like, it's got to be ready to go. And as people are watching the live stream, there's some production quality going on. It's got to start at 8. We've got an audience it's not a big theater thing, but it does need to be fun.
So it's a lot of work. And I think for anybody starting up, actually running the breaks, the hardest thing is getting those buyers, getting that audience.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to just 99 cent auction it on eBay and let it fly, you have to get people to buy it, whatever price you determine, or to buy 32 random teams. So that can be a grind, getting the customer base up, whether it's on Twitter or IG or Facebook or a website, where however you decide to do that, getting the customers is probably the biggest hurdle. But then you also have, things can go wrong.
Right.
Sometimes out of your control, sometimes within your control, and you just need to be ready. And you may have to eat some cost. You may have to buy somebody a card. Who knows? There could be a storm and your thing could go out. So you need to have a backup plan for whatever it is, for whether it's buying somebody a card that gets lost in the mail, for people that get skunked, for your computer going out, your internet going out, whatever it is. Just be ready for problems to happen.
So he brought up a term that maybe some people wouldn't know in the hobby, and so this is sort of a bad example, but there's a lot of cards in this box. Okay, let's just say one of the boxes Give me one of those
We got the
boxes.
Prism draft picks.
Give me a box.
I just see Paolo,
So-
I'm like that one. Paolo.
So in this box, this is brand new, just released 2022 Prism draft picks. This is in their college uniforms. So there is only 40 cards in this box. Well, there's a chance that the Utah Jazz, if you buy into this box for the Utah Jazz, you might not get a card. And so if you're from eBay, eBay's policy says you have to ship them something. So we have Utah Jazz team packs that we send over, but again, we have to put those together. And so there's a chance that you guys are taking the gamble of there's a card, there might not be cards that get hit in every team. So there's not a guarantee that there's going to be all 30 teams represented in this box. That's a big thing that I think people don't necessarily realize. It's like you're not guaranteed anything in certain boxes.
But they will say, hey, there's a certain number of autographs
Yep.
or a certain number of parallels, right? What are the, even if you might hear this word a hit, like what is a hit in a box of cards?
I'd say a hit could be monetary wise, anything $5 or above. But it's typically an autograph, a memorabilia card, a numbered card, a prism, like a silver prism, a purple prism, could be the case hits, like rare inserts, short prints. It can kind of vary. I mean, a hit mostly kind of goes by, what's expensive, like what's going to sell.
Right.
And I would say anything like that's non-base related, like a hit card is like, again, a rare card that could be of value, or just something that you don't see, one of one, or, just, I would say those are probably the biggest hits of the box.
Okay, so I enjoy, like, I'm on the buyer side or the collector side of buying into a break, and several reasons I've done it. I get access to a brand new product that I wouldn't normally have, and sometimes on release day. Like there's a lot of fun. We had more listens to any other episode, or when we talk about the new Prism drop, like the new Prism basketball release, not the draft picks, but like the big one with LaMelo Ball, all that to say, there I get to be a part of opening day, and that's when those cards are often worth the most on their resale value on eBay. But I also get that thrill of suspense, like I would normally have if I'm opening a box and I can smell we talked about that, but like there's that magic of gambling, really, of what you could get out of a box. I get to be a part of that without paying the full price of, right, the whole hobby box, and certainly without doing whatever you guys have had to do to get access to these things. Because you're right, you can't just go to any other place and pay what Panini charges for a box or what a wholesaler does, right? So as a buyer, like, it makes all kinds of sense to me. At the same time, I do need to understand there's risks, right? I could wind up with the Utah Jazz team pack from Mike and Dave and be like, wow, thanks for the John Stockton, actually Stockton would be great if you could throw that. But my point is, as a fan or collector, like, I get why you'd want to participate in these as a seller or a dealer or a breaker, because I've been at card shops where I'm just there looking through the dollar box and somebody comes in and buys $5,000 worth of product because they're going to go home and live stream their breaks. And so I'm like, they're like serious, really into this. What is keeping, like, what do you guys love about doing it? What keeps you guys doing breaks, consistently? Wednesday night, you've got your list ready to go, and we're going to wrap this up in like 2 minutes because these guys got to get on. They're doing the breaks tonight. But what keeps you doing it? Why do you love it?
It's those big hits. And especially, I always say this, like, when we have a big hit, I'm always like, I hope they're in the chat. I hope they're watching.
Yeah.
Because you want to see them get excited. You want them to, like, maybe have a story about it, or,
Right.
I like just talking to the people in the chat. We usually have, at least, 10, 20, 30, 40 people, depending on how many boxes we're breaking that night in the chat, and just chatting about what they're trying to get.
I love that too. It's a shared experience.
Yeah.
So like with a bunch of other people doing the same thing, that is a blast.
And even if, say, you don't hit, but you're in a break and you see the Paolo manga get pulled, and somebody else is in the chat, like, excited about it, and you're excited for them,
Right?
So you didn't hit anything, but you got to see somebody else hit, maybe a week changing or month changing or life changing card, depending on how big a value it is or how much it means to them.
Do you have a like a call that you make anytime somebody, like, boom, or I don't know, like something that you shot? Pitching or
I don't have like a specific call. It's just whatever I'm
okay.
thinking at the
whatever
time.
moves you at the time. Okay,
As you can tell, I don't plan ahead for much. It's just whatever you're going through the brain. at the
that's
time.
all right. That's good.
And I think it's just, there is an element to having an audience, however big or small it is. I think it's just having that audience. You know, usually Hoos or Don will say that person's name, like, oh, hey, Mike just hit it, or Gary just hit this nice, you know, Paolo Mega. So it's, people want to see that card, and they know that it's theirs and that people are watching. There's an element to that, to where, you know, hey, it's suspenseful. And the ability to hit, again, sometimes, like, okay, if you we hit a Santa Claus like downtown the other, and so that person,
And you posted it on Instagram. Yeah.
and so, you know, that's like a $4-figure $1,000 card, and so that could change somebody's, you know, they could pay somebody's rent, or, you know, so these cards that are in these boxes, there's value to be made, and you can by breaking them down, literally breaking them down, you have the ability to hit a bigger card with lower value,
Yeah.
with a lower cost, I should say.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, any advice on people who have never done a break before? Like, what would you say? Just get out and do it, or would you be like, no, watch a few first so you know what actually goes on?
I would say at least you should know something about the product, like the product that you're buying into, because all boxes are not the same. So like there's case hits in every product, and the case hits in here might be, you know, worth a ton of money, and the case hits in here might not be worth anything. The autos in here might not be worth much. As we saw in football, sorry basketball people. We're gonna talk football here.
I've heard of football. Good.
As we saw in football, Brock Purdy was in 20% of the products this year. So don't go on and buy the Niners. You know, go look at the checklist. Make sure your guys are in this product. See how many cards they have in the product. The checklists usually get dropped in advance.
Yeah.
So go check out the checklist before you buy into anything, and just know a little bit about the product before you.
That's
buy
great.
in.
Do you have a site that you look to for product?
Cardboard Connection.
I do. Yeah. Cardboard
there's
Connection
two.
always has a good, and Blowout Cards has a
Beckett.
little bit.
I think Beckett and
Beckett.
Cardboard Connection both have a pretty good site. Either one
That's great.
Either one works.
Great advice to look at the checklist and know what additional types of cards, like what autos, right? What limited edition cards are in the set, what players, you know,
may not be in there.
because some have lots of rookie autos of one guy, but very few of another, if any.
And Panini's, you know, card schedule is weird. Like they had Mosaic.
It is
come
so
out.
jacked up. It is.
They had Mosaic come
Makes
out,
sense.
and Brock Purdy was in it. The next three products that came out after Mosaic, Brock Purdy wasn't in it. So it's like everybody would just assume he's in it, and then you get in the break, and it's like, well, there's no possible Brock Purdy's in here. That would be disappointing.
Right.
So just make sure to do a little bit, you know, doesn't even take a lot, 5-10 minutes worth of research. Look on Cardboard Connection.
And I would also look off if you're gonna do, you know, depending on the site that you're gonna buy it off of, like, okay, so eBay, I would definitely look at, and we do this as a seller, but look at the person's feedback. You know, do they have, you know, have they had bad feedback? And that's important because, hey, as a reputable breaker, you know, we want to make sure we've done, you know, 1,400 breaks so far. And so it's not like it's our first rodeo.
Right.
And so you can see that on our website that we're breaking, you know, breaks 1,440 or something tonight, you know. So it's just, you look at the person's feedback, you know, you see, okay, are they reputable in the community, you know, and then again, like you said, what product are they breaking? Are you interested in? Some people don't even buy into breaks. Like we'll have people, it might happen even tonight, but we'll have like a, you know, a random team break on our eBay, and they think that they bought the box of cards for $10.
Oh yeah.
And so
you have to break the news to them.
we have to explain this to them.
Obviously,
so
but not obviously.
There's a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people out there, but there's people out there that just buy and then they'll say, oh, my kid bought this, or, you know, like eBay is kind of tough.
Yeah. eBay is a whole different animal.
Yeah.
It is.
But
that's a whole nother episode. We don't have time for that.
Sure.
We got to get these guys onto their breaks for tonight. So check out, where can we, I mean, there are a lot of good breakers, but find ones that you trust and that'll interact with you like this and answer questions. Like how do we find you guys on whether it's YouTube or Instagram?
Yeah, YouTube, SHAG Sports Cards, Instagram, SHAG-Sports Cards, Twitter, SHAG Sports Cards, Facebook, SHAG Sports Cards.
Most importantly, our website, shagsportscards.com. That's where you can buy our breaks. and then head over to YouTube to watch us.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks again for being on the show. I've had the fun of participating in one or two of your breaks in the fall. I think it was a basketball one. I won't say if it wasn't, but you guys did deliver. I
Pretty sure
eventually
it was-
I eventually came in and picked them up because
I'm pretty sure it was tennis. I
Yeah,
think.
right.
It might have been tennis.
We need to cut the film right here. That's right. Anyway, guys, thanks for being on the show. Thanks for what you do too, and encouraging us as beginners and people just trying to have fun and not lose money. So
I would also say one last thing is, you know, if I'm getting into breaks as a buyer, is you want to support your local. So like, again, for you buying into a break, you knew that you could come into our store, and a lot of the people that have physical stores are also online breakers too.
right.
So it saves money, you know, for you as a buyer on shipping. You can just come in. There's no, hey, it got lost in the mail. You want to hit your cards, and you want to come in the next day or that week
Right.
and pick up your cards. That's a big thing. And so find out who your local breakers are and support them.
That's great. Yeah. Do you know others like around here that do it, that come in and try to buy cards from you or buy boxes from you and that do breaks or no?
We had a guy recently.
Not many.
Yeah, there's not many. But
Rated-
a guy recently who's
rated
trying to
breaks.
get into the breaks who bought a couple boxes from us.
Okay.
It's
That just, it makes it so much more fun and you trust the people you're
Yeah,
dealing with. You're going
right.
to see them more often anyway. So awesome. Well, thanks guys. Shag Sports Cards. .com. Awesome. Thanks for being a part of Hoops and Cards. Thank you guys for watching or listening to our podcast, and we'll catch you next week. That was great. I kept trying to wrap it up because it's 8 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be late for you. Okay. I hope we didn't go too long. That was fun, you guys. That was great.